I'm Veer Von Wright, and you're watching Grafikmetal, where metal is celebrated with design in mind. I don't know about you, but I love going to metal shows. But damn it, it'd be nice to see some ladies for a change. Come on. Heck, I take any new faces outside the same old couple hundred sweaty old dudes I see pretty much every damn show.
Like a fire.
I get it. Metal has just always wanted to show up, wear a black tank, some jeans, and just rock out to some heavy tunes, right? Nothing more, nothing less. It's the heavy metal way. This is why we have such a loyal following, but it's also why we are stubborn sons of bitches. After all, look what we did to hair metal. Well, get over it. And while I'm at it, wake up, metalheads. Metal doesn't have to only be fast, simple, and brutal. It can also be beautiful, emotional, and imaginative. Enter Nightwish. Arguably the first band to truly take that at heart, carve out a unique space for themselves, and become successful while doing it. One that was badly needed in the stuffy halls of Metal Valhalla. But how and why did they do this? Why does it matter? Who are the members and the keys to their success, plus their greatest weakness? Our take on the big polarizing debates. Tuomas versus Tarja, and who is the best Nightwish singer? All of this and more on this episode of Grafikmetal. Just like the Barbenheimer film extravaganza, or in years past with nu metal, pop punk, or grunge, having a brand that welcomes and attracts both the masculine and the feminine energies is immensely powerful. Just like in all aspects of life, having balance is important and valuable. This is what made Nightwish so special when they came out in the late 90s. It was like, whoa, wait just a minute here. This is metal? But it's so beautiful, yet heavy at the same time. What is this? Well, it's Nightwish, a Finnish symphonic operatic metal band forming in 1996 via Kitee, Finland. It's the side project conceived by founder, keyboardist, principal songwriter, and later producer of one, Tuomas Holopainen. He was a keyboardist for many Finnish bands in the late 90s, including a black metal band in Darkwood's My Betrothed, whose goal was to be the most blasphemous of black metal bands in the world. But in '96, he had a dream come to him, an idea of forming a new band. It was sparked by a moment on July 6, 1996, where he and his old pals of Darkwoods were gathered at a campfire. His vision was a band that would be classical and play what he described as mood music. It wouldn't even really be heavy. You'd have acoustic guitar, some flutes, strings, piano, keyboards, and definitely a female vocalist. According to Tuomas, the idea was influenced by the Norwegian band Over and their sophomore release, Kveldsinger, in '95. If you listen to that album, you can definitely hear the inspiration. His fascination with having a female vocalist came from 3 other bands: the Norwegian gothic rock band Third and Immortal, the Norwegian doom metal band Theater of Tragedy, who just had formed, and the Dutch band The Gathering, who actually had been around since '89, but just changed new directions starting in '95, thanks to Anneke van Gerbingen joining and fronting the band. You may recognize her as she's just a little bit of a big deal. All 4 bands I highly recommend, and I will definitely do episodes on each one of them in the future. Okay, so Tuomas got inspired, but now it's time to paint. Shortly after that night, he invited his fellow schoolmate and buddy in Erno Vuorinen, aka Emppu, to play acoustic guitars, and Tarja Turunen on vocals, who had shared the same music teacher in school as they did in Plamen de Moth. They recorded their first demo in November to December of '96 and ended up calling it Nightwish after their first song that they played together. The other 2 songs were The Forever Moments and E Tienen, and as promised, it sounded a lot like Third and Immortal, but with one distinct difference coming from the fact that Tarja is not just any singer, and more on that in a moment. They would record another 3-song EP a few months later, including The Carpenter, Astro Romance, and Angels Fall First. But the big change was adding Jukka Nevalainen, aka Julius, on drums, and the acoustic being replaced with electric guitars, and them introducing a more heavy metal style to the existing experimental classical foundation. Both the decision to include a drummer, right, but also change the directions into an electric guitar was Tuomas's vision of wanting to take what he was inspired by, right, but then evolving it and creating a brand new style of metal. This style would be, of course, what Nightwish would come to be known for after all these years, which is either symphonic, operatic metal, depending on your personal preference. After completion of their second EP in early '97, the Finnish record label Spine Farm Records gave them a record deal, as they wanted to release the songs off of their first 2 EPs. As such, the band went back into the studio to record those 6 songs along with some new ones. Their debut, Angels Fall First, was released in November of 1997 and immediately drew local attention. Their single, The Carpenter, reached number 3 on the Finnish charts. As it often goes though, critics hated it, but fans loved it. The fans had to wait patiently before getting a chance to see them live, as in the beginning, outside just a few shows here and there near their hometown, they had to wait as Emppu and Julius had to finish military service, along with Tarja having to finish her studies. Regardless, Spinefarm Records immediately saw their potential and extended the record for another 3 albums. This put the band right back into the studio to record their follow-up record, Oceanborn, which was released on December 7th of 1998. For this album, though, they added bassist Sami Vänskä, who was also an old friend of Tuomas's. It saw them bring a little bit more oomph, technical chops, and exploration. It was the same blueprint, it was just a little bit tighter. And just like that, and as indicated off of the second song from their debut, the Beauty and the Beast effects style was born. So what exactly is this Beauty and the Beast sound that I speak of? Well, it has 5 distinct qualities. Element 1, at their root, they are a power metal band. Which as a new genre was just in its infancy and just starting to get a little bit of attention thanks to bands like Blind Guardian, Gamma Ray, and TSO. Element 2, classical fusion. Remember, the vision Tuomas had was to evolve and create a brand new style of metal by combining metal with classical instruments and strong structures. Throughout their career, many have been used, but most commonly you'll hear instruments like pianos, keyboards, flutes, strings, pipes, cello, violin, acoustic guitars, choirs, and many samples. Not to mention the fact that they have worked more and more with orchestras as years have gone on. Element 3, experimentation. Tuomas was drawn to and felt that the only way to succeed both within this vision and also in the music industry was to never stop evolving and experimenting. And so, the band always has. Element 4, imagination. The idea of creating this new type of metal was not just musically, but it was also thematically. He wanted the lyrics, the stories to spark your imagination, to drive home this dark fantasy brand and to be filled with a sea of emotions. Even if you don't care for their lyrics, just look at some of the song titles: Astro Romance, Angels Fall First, and Nymphomaniac Fantasia. This band is poetry in motion. Element 5, female energy. Tuomas always wanted the band to be led by a beautiful and powerful female operatic singer, as means basically to create this unique sound, right? But also to create that contrast between the dark and heavy, but also emotional and beautiful. They also never lost sight of both this metal and classical fusion of their brands, which might just be the most enduring quality of the band. But speaking of female energy, the band has been led by 3 separate women, or as I like to call it, the 3-headed queen, all special in their own right. And as such, has actually sparked one of the most heated debates in all of music history. who is the best Nightwish singer? I'll give my opinion later on, but the fact that it even exists is what makes them so important. So let's talk about each one of them. First, you have the Dark Fairy herself, the OG, Miss Tarja Susanna Turunen Kabuli, or simply Tarja, who is not just a singer, right, but a professionally trained classical artistic singer with a 3-octave vocal range. She studied at Sibelius Academy, and another school that I am definitely not going to attempt to say out loud, so you can just read it if you want to, which gifted her a unique and dramatic operatic vocal style, not to mention limitless confidence. Despite the band playing about as epic sounding music as you can imagine, all eyes have always been on Tarja. And look, I don't know anything about fashion, but if Tarja is not considered to be a fashion icon, I don't know who is, right? Regularly changing outfits throughout her performances and wowing us with an array of stunning styles and colors. It truly is a spectacle in itself and should not be undervalued. Remember, metal can be beautiful. She fronted the band from 96 to 05, which each of their first 5 albums, and of course, bringing the band to stardom. Which it's easy to forget given the fact that it's been like 20 years, but their breakup was a really big deal. We're talking, Metallica versus Mustaine level here. Heck, the Prime Minister of Finland got involved, for God's sakes. Leading up to the shocking moment, they were one of the biggest bands in the world. Already the most successful Finnish band, winning awards, selling multiple multi-platinum records, sold out stadium shows worldwide, and Tarja regularly making big global appearances. Not to mention that their 5th album had just debuted #1 in 8 different countries. But just like that, poof, all that changed. After yet another successful show in Helsinki on October 21st of 2005, when the band walked off stage, they handed what is now an infamous open letter to Tarja, essentially firing her from the band. It's crazy. This open letter actually was just made public after 20 years on the band's website. I will provide the link in case if you actually want to read it, but personally, I don't think that it ever should have gone public. I think it should have just remained for only them alone, as it's just way too personal. But for the sake of being able to move forward, all you need to know is this. The open letter basically stated that the band didn't feel like Tarja or her husband, who was also at the time the band manager, were in the band for the right reasons anymore. Also important to note that a few years earlier in 2001, Tuomas fired Sami, their ex-bassist, due to creative differences, which many people believe started the rift between Tuomas and Tarja, as both Tarja and her husband, Marcelo, were close with Sami. More on this a little bit later. So, Tarja is out. Next, we got the Underdog story.
Come and share this painting with me.
Annette Ingrid Olsen, who joined the band officially in 2007. Over 2,000 singers were considered, and despite Tuomas' initial hesitation given Annette already had a young child, Annette remained persistent, and the band in the end chose her to front and be the next singer of Nightwish, which made sense to some degree as Tuomas did not want another singer similar to Tarja, as according to him, he felt like she was irreplaceable. Annette, though, was still more than capable of a singer, having singing lessons from Copenhagen Music Conservatory and MoMA Music University under her belt. It was also hard not to like her, as she was that classic underdog story, fighting and clawing her way in life. She already had a child, right? But she also had worked like a ton of different jobs, including as a factory worker, a waitress, a hamburger flipper, veterinarian assistant, receptionist, hairdresser, and even a wedding singer. She also helped Tuomas out in writing, which is something that Tarja never did in her entire tenure with the band. And she was also coming into the band at their absolute peak and would be there for their two of their three most successful studio albums to date, in Dark Passion Play in 2007 and Imaginarium in 2011. She also was just removed, just like that.
I don't think there are any big changes in the band.
Let's just say this. Tuomas and Nightwish are damn lucky that this happened in 2012. Because if this happened just a few years later, I can assure you, the band probably would never have been able to recover from the band's backlash. They may have been doing it for the right reasons, for the band and also for Annette herself. But even a whiff, a hint of the idea that Annette may or may not have been fired due to her being pregnant for a second time, and therefore her requesting to push out the tour dates a little bit and being denied by such. I mean, oh boy, talk about a firestorm. Worth noting, though, that rarely has it ever been talked about on either side of the camps. This is probably because of the fact that even Annette herself probably know the real reason, and that's being the fact that all along the band actually wanted. The Queenslayer, Floor Jensen, who officially joined the band in 2013. But if you ask Tuomas, he probably will tell you that Floor has been with the band from day one. Floor started her career with the band after Forever in 97, when she was just like 15 or 16 years old. It's crazy. Also formed another band in Revamp after Forever had disbanded. And because of her prowess as a singer, she got the opportunity to work on several other projects, including Ariane and Arjan's other project, Star One, which I want to call attention to because I think it's actually kind of cute. So, growing up, Floor wanted to become a biologist, and fittingly, she kind of got the opportunity when she got to play the part as the biologist in Ariane's album called, The Source, right? Which is pretty cool, right? Even cooler though might be the fact that a new species of beetle was named after her and discovered in 2018. This happened again in 2020 with a new species of a brittle star. Go figure, actually Tuomas also has a species named after him, in which case was a fungus gnat. So apparently, the band is actually just a bunch of biologists masking around as a music band. Anywho, it was a dream scenario, okay? So Floor is also a classically trained soprano singer with a range of more than 3 octave level. And is actually even more intimidating than Tarja was due to her 6-foot frame, right? And in addition to her just immense confidence and stage presence, she is also 10 years younger than Annette and 5 years younger than Tarja, and highly motivated, as she was probably feeling like she didn't really get the recognition or opportunity that she deserved up to this point. Tuomas may not have initially ever wanted to have another singer similar to Tarja, but anyone like myself who knew of Floor, you get the opportunity to get Floor, you get Floor. It's just that simple. And you could tell immediately when she joined, it jolted the band with newfound energy to spark their now 3rd act as a band. She has been now a part of the band for their last 3 albums, in Endless Form's Most Beautiful in 2015, Human in 2020, and now their latest brand new release in Yesterwind in 2024. Regardless of the beat, Marko Hietala, who was with the band from 2002 to 2021 as their bassist on albums 4 through 9, allowed the band to elevate to new heights, writing more epic and explorative ideas and driving home that Beauty and the Beast brand. Not to mention helping out Tuomas out with songwriting, and also giving the ladies a much needed break, as he was more than capable as a singer on his own.
Light at the end of the world, horizon crying, the tears he left behind long ago.
But sadly, he also left the band, citing health reasons during the pandemic. Cool fact is that early in his career, Hietala was actually the producer for Amorphous in 2002 to 2011. As for the other two men, and Emppu, who is the first bandmate actually to get called upon by Tuomas to join Nightwish, gets zero recognition and attention, partially because it's hard to even see him at only 5'2". But yeah, without him, and also Julius, who is their now ex-drummer, the metal part just would have fell flat and just been stale. but those two are highly skilled at what they do. And Pew in particular has a very unique ability to just kind of craft very emotional melodies and technical guitar solos, but is also a hell of a riff master. It's actually probably one of the most underrated qualities of Nightwish is that they are really good at like mid-song breakdowns. Seriously, it's kind of brilliant. We also got the newbies, in Troy Donockley, who joined the band also in 2013 along with Floor as a multi-instrumentalist and master of the Ilian pipes.
You know, I've been to Machu Picchu and I've been to the Taj Mahal, I've been to Petra, I've seen Christ the Redeemer, I've seen most of the Seven Wonders, but it's nothing compared to this.
Kai Hatu replaced Yuka on drums officially in 2019, but technically had been helping out as early as 2014 due to Yuka's health complications. And not at all confusing, but another Yuka is the most recent member of the band, Yuka Koskian, the now new bassist for the band, who also is actually in the band Wintersong, which is pretty cool.
So we could see the beautiful dive.
Keeping track, notice all the member changes. This is what makes the debate between Tarja and Tuomas that much more interesting. Did Tarja really change that much? Was she influenced by the big bad husband? Was she seduced by greed? Or was it actually just Tuomas's show all along? And, well, we've heard this story before, have we not? Trent Reznor, Tobias Forge, you name it. Creative geniuses are really hard to work with. After all, now this is 5 members that have either been fired or have left the band. And sticking with the slight jabs for all their greatness as a band. And don't get me wrong, I've always enjoyed them. But they do have one giant weakness. But for that, you're gonna have to check out our other episode where I rank all 10 of their studio albums and give you all the juicy details and breakdowns of that, plus that greatest weakness that I'm referring to. As for the other polarizing debate, right, I have been fortunate enough to have seen them 3 times in each of the different singers, go figure, in 04, in 08, and 2013. I also have listened to all their albums many times, even re-listened to all of them in preparation for these episodes. So, what is my take? Who is the best Nightwish singer? Well, yep, I'm doing it again. That will be tackled on our Who is the Best Nightwish Singer. I know, I'm a bastard, but there's just too much to unpack, and let's be honest, you've already probably left this episode long ago. So, with that, if there is one takeaway to take from this episode is remember that metal can be beautiful, damn it. Those other 2 Nightwish episodes will be here shortly. Until then, I'm Veer Von White. You've been watching Grafikmetal. Until next time, cheers, keep on rocking.